insurance. All citizens age 65 and over received low-cost hospital insurance. Does that mean they got free hospital insurance? No, low cost. The second part of the Medicare bill of 1965 provided all citizens age 65 and over low-cost medical insurance. All citizens 65 and over low-cost medical insurance. What's the difference, Bailey, between hospital insurance and medical insurance? So, and it's not that, I mean, don't think it's that tough. It's not that tough.
Medical, like dentist, isn't that?
Go ahead. What's hospital insurance?
Like if you go to the hospital.
Very simple. Any bills you incur in the hospital. Brooke, what is medical insurance?
Like dentist.
Dentist or doctor. So if I go see Dr. Thirsty, he's going to send me a bill, and my medical insurance is going to hopefully pay most of that. But if I go to the hospital and have surgery, the bills that are incurred at the hospital will be covered by hospital insurance. There were a lot of elderly people at the time that could not afford medical insurance or hospital insurance. I'll just tell you a quick story, which is a little off the cuff. The biggest concern a person like me has when we retire is how am I going to pay for my insurance? Because I bet to insure my wife and I is $1,200, $1,400 a month. So if I retire, all of a sudden I don't get that benefit from the school district. I have to come up with that myself. That's what keeps sometimes teachers that are behind the game, so to speak, still in education, because they can't retire because they can't afford medical insurance on their own. It's expensive. Well, especially people over 65, and what this does is it allows older people that are on a fixed budget to be able to buy through Medicare low-cost medical insurance and low-cost hospital insurance. So a lot of teachers, for myself, I feel young, I can maybe go, I'd like to go till I'm 65, because once I get to be 65, I can quit and not worry so much about medical insurance, because I can get the low-cost stuff from and be on Medicare. You've probably all heard of that. Now, Johnson didn't only want to try to take care of people 65 and over, he also put into this Medicare bill something that would help people below the age of 65, and they would receive medical aid through federal grants that were given to individual states. So the federal government would give medical aid, they'd give federal grants to each state, and then it would be up to the state to decide how they would help the needy people under the age of 65 in their particular states. So the Medicare bill of 1965 also gave Wyoming, for example, X amount of federal dollars that the Wyoming legislature could decide how they were going to use that to help people with medical bills, both hospital and medical, under the age of 65. That's what the Medicare bill did. And it was crucial. And I'll just tell you a story, and then I'll tell you the Grandma Durr story, which is a little off the cuff, and it's kind of funny. Anyway, I'll tell you the story first. My mom and dad both had cancer. Terrible thing. And I'll bet you, and I'm not making this up, I'll bet you they spent $1 million on medical and hospital expenses during the time they fought cancer. Both of them. My mom lived 8 years, my dad not very long. But Medicare and Medicaid helped pay that. So my mom and dad's deal was they paid 20% and Medicare paid 80%. And they bought this low-cost insurance. So if my mom and dad went through $1 million in medical bills, they probably paid $200,000 out of their pocket over the years, and Medicaid paid the other $800,000. And that comes from taxes and Social Security and all that kind of stuff. So Medicare is an incredibly crucial thing to people 65 and over. Your grandparents, I can tell you right now, I don't know how old your grandparents are, I'm getting too old, but I'm almost going to be 65 one of these days. But the point is, this bill was very, very important to the people of this country. And you know, they're talking about Obamacare and health insurance for people now, and they're not talking about so much people over the 65 and over, they're talking about people that can't afford it that are younger. But this Medicare bill was very, very important. And because Lyndon Johnson passed that, my mother, late in her years, was a staunch Democrat. She loved Democratic presidents because they had Medicare. And Republicans, I'm not being critical, but I think Trump would like to kind of hit on Medicare a little bit. Republicans aren't so much into that part, you know, and that's the controversy. Well, this story's a little off the cuff. You want to hear it?
Yes.
Okay, well, it's not bad, but it's a little off the cuff. My mother, has anybody watched the sitcom Everybody Loves Raymond? Anybody seen that? How many people have seen Everybody Loves Raymond?